108, 12, 18, 28, 3, 70, 12, 20. Welcome back to Mr. M's PTA. I am Mr. M and this is my parent-teacher advice channel. Today, we're looking at Chris Roberts' fantastic new website, whattimeswhat.com. And as you can see, it gets a bit crazy. It's a rapid-fire multiplication challenge where kids can type or speak their answers to climb a leaderboard. And I'm really lucky because Chris reached out to me not only to ask if I would play it and tell you guys about it, but also to join me as a guest and talk about how he made such a fun and addictive game, and more importantly, why. So Chris, hi, welcome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your history and why you created it?
Good morning or good day, depending on when you're seeing or hearing this podcast. I'm Chris Roberts. I am founder of Classical Education Foundation, a 501c3 that I'm trying to sort of evangelize what times what, which is I would say a multiplication game, but it's a lot richer than just a game. When you've got global leaderboards and tools for teachers that are included with it, things for the students to really earn along the way. It's a little more than a game. I almost call it sportifying multiplication. But the path that got me here was not a straight line. I've had a career in music education and IT for 30 years. And between the music education and the math education and the IT, it's all sort of come together in this site that I intend to keep free for students and parents and teachers. I do have this book that is almost ready to publish, Math Education in the Age of AI, What Music Education Solves That Math Education Forgot. Thank you for helping me get the word out because it helps to keep it free. And that's what I'm doing right now. I always like to do it each morning, so there'll be someone on the Today leaderboard.
Yeah.
So
I've used it in a couple of my tutoring sessions. And
how's it going?
Well, it was really interesting because I've got one little girl who's struggling with maths. And I think, you get those times tables, like we said, they're really useful. And when I said, right, you're going to do some times tables. And she was a bit hesitant until she realized she could just shout out her answer. And then in the first 30 seconds, I think she got 13 and one wrong. Then I had a go and she saw that I got 32 or something. Also got a couple wrong. And then she just snatched the tablet from me and said, right, we're going again. That was a warm up. So just removing that barrier of having to write down the answer and just being able to shout it out. It made it, she's requested to do it again this week.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to do the daily challenge real quick so I can get it on the leaderboard. See how it goes. I'm 35, 24, 12, 16, 72, 100, 96, 108, 1, 22, 64, 6, 24, 14, 15, 48, 7, 18, 36, 27, 54, 50, 81, 40, 30, 8, 4, 99, 60, 5, 33, 77, 42, 20, 18, 110, 70, 56, 121, 36, 32, 11, 72, 23, 120. That's my new record. I guess under pressure I do okay. 45.
45, okay.
And I just hit Grandmaster level right now. By the way, that's a new record.
That's fantastic. And like I said, I've played it. It's kind of high adrenaline, which you wouldn't expect for a maths, like you said, game. But it hooks you in. And I know children I've used it with, it's hooked them in too.
Just by adding the clock, there are tools that simulate what you do in the UK with that multiplication check at a particular age. There are things that, try to simulate that exactly. But, what's the motivation for a child to do that other than that test? But when you put a timer on it, or you say it's me versus you, it just changes the whole dynamic. And I've done memorization before of numbers and of pi to 110 decimal places, and it's wow. Embarrassing. But I've also memorized music. But there was a motivation when you're memorizing music. Oh, you have to perform. You're going to perform in a parade. You got to memorize your music, or on a field. At halftime of a football game, you've got to memorize. But there's motivation, and I think that's been missing in math education. Where's the performance part of it? And whenever you have a clock, or you're going head to head, or what's built in, the ability to host a live event or a multiplication bee, it gives some motivation to the memorization. I say, go memorize your times tables. It's like, why? This is boring. But all of a sudden, you put a little fire under someone, just a clock or a head-to-head, and it changes the whole dynamic of it.
And I know some teachers that I've spoken to are like, oh, no, but that's a lot of pressure for a child. I'm not sure about that clock adding pressure. But in my experience, that's kind of projected onto the child because the kids that I've used it with, they don't feel pressure because of the clock. And because you have on the website, you have your personal best. At no point is there condemnation at all. You get 15 the first time, then maybe you get 16 the next time. And you can see that progress with the graph as well. It's really good. And I think that's a really important lesson to learn. So having that clock and that little bit of managed pressure, like you said, it's so important and it's really key and it adds to the excitement of it. Yeah, I'm glad you added the clock and all of the stats and the data as well.
Well, I'll tell you, the first students, the first classes, couple of classes that tested that, the very first day, the feedback was we'd like to earn badges. And I did that day. And so the next day they came in, they were starting to play. In fact, they were giving up their recess to play that. And that the second day, the feedback from the teacher is they want to compete. And then I developed the system where they could compete head to head after they play a game. And I'm talking even in the more rudimentary tables. Once you finish and you're working on your fours, maybe that's where you are in that week of studying. Once a child is done practicing their fours sequentially and then random, they can challenge a friend. They create a thing, a little invite code they give to someone. Someone joins that challenge, and it's a blind challenge. They don't know the number they have to beat. It's masked. And if you won, you see confetti, and another one says, they got you this time, which implies try again.
Yeah.
And that's a healthy competition, and they ask for it. To your point, they want to be challenged. It's nice to have some sort of motivation versus just, go eat your vegetables.
And I think because I know we've chatted before, and you deliberately made it browser-based instead of app-based, which is great. And your aim to keep it free for everyone kind of informed that a bit, but it's actually a stroke of genius, because I'm sure you're aware in the UK we've gone the same route as Australia, and social media has been banned for under 16s, and I'm sure because of the sharing, your if it were an app, it would have been kind of caught in that net, but because it's browser based, it still keeps it open and free. So that's absolutely fantastic.
Yes, once you put it in an app store, you're assuming everyone in the world has access to an app store. And that's not true. You're also assuming that everyone in the world has email. But there might be a child that's going to a library for a computer, and they could actually get on, play anonymously, learn anonymously. Now, some of the classroom integration and history things need an account. But to get on and learn and play, you don't need even an email. And to me, that's accessible. A browser anywhere in the world, you can get to it. And as far as accessibility, in the settings, if you click the button that says Spanish instead of English, the whole thing turns Spanish, and the speech recognition is also in Spanish. And I'm very proud of that.
With time being of the essence, I had to ask Chris to give us the TLDR of it all.
If you can make it fun, competitive, challenging, maybe it'll land with students. Maybe they'll see, oh, this is not just go do your homework, do your assignment, memorize the stuff. There's actually folks all around the world that thinks this is a big deal, or I can compete with people. It's almost like a community, a multiplication community. And that changes the narrative. This isn't, go do this laborious memorization. It's go do this and you can compete, and the benefits will pay off later.
Sadly, we're going to have to leave it there. I had two really nice chats with Chris that resulted in nearly 3 hours of footage. He genuinely is a really interesting and nice guy. Keep an eye out for his book, What Music Education Solves That Math Education Forgot. It's going to be out soon. Check Amazon and go to the website, whattimeswhat.com now. It's genuinely useful. It's a lot of fun and kids enjoy it. It's a good thing to do with your children. Challenge each other. Now, ordinarily, I do the sign off, but I think this week I'm going to let Chris have the final say. So until next time, look after yourselves and each other, and remember, you can do this. You're awesome. Okay, Chris, back to you.
I would love for someone to top my best score. That would be fantastic.